In a small, forgotten village nestled between jagged mountains, whispers of a ghostly figure haunted the nights. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about La Llorona, the weeping woman. Her story was one of love, betrayal, and eternal sorrow. Years ago, she was known as Maria, a beautiful woman with long, flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like the stars. She fell in love with a handsome man, a charming stranger who swept her off her feet. Their love was passionate, consuming. They married under the bright sun, and soon after, Maria gave birth to 2 beautiful children. Life seemed perfect. But as time passed, the charm of their love faded. The man grew distant, his heart wandering. Maria noticed the change. He no longer looked at her with the same adoration. He spent long hours away from home, returning late, reeking of perfume that was not hers. The whispers of infidelity crept into her heart, gnawing at her sanity. One fateful night, Maria confronted him. The argument escalated, voices rising like a storm. In a fit of rage, he confessed his betrayal. He had fallen in love with another woman. Heartbroken, Maria felt her world shatter. In a moment of despair, she lost control. In a fit of madness, she took her children to the river, hoping to drown her sorrows. But in her grief, she drowned them instead. When the realization hit her, it was too late. The river, once a place of joy, became her prison. She wept for her lost children, her cries echoing through the mountains. The villagers heard her wails, chilling and haunting. They said her spirit roamed the riverbanks, searching for her children, forever weeping. Years passed, but the legend of La Llorona grew. Children were warned not to wander near the river at night. "If you hear her cries, run," the parents would say. "She'll take you too." The fear of the weeping woman gripped the village. Many claimed to have seen her, a shadowy figure draped in white, her face hidden, tears streaming down her cheeks. One stormy night, a group of teenagers decided to test the legend. They gathered at the river, emboldened by bravado and the thrill of fear. Laughter echoed in the darkness, but it was short-lived. As the wind howled, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew heavy, charged with an unexplainable energy. "Do you hear that?" one of them whispered, his voice trembling. The laughter faded. A distant wail pierced the night, chilling them to the bone. It was a sound of pure anguish, a mother's sorrow echoing through the valley. The group fell silent, fear gripping their hearts. "Let's go," another urged, but curiosity held them in place. They wanted to see. They wanted to believe. As they peered into the darkness, a figure emerged. Dressed in white, her hair cascading like a waterfall, she glided toward them. Her face was obscured, but the sorrow in her presence was palpable. "Where are my children?" she cried, her voice a haunting melody. "Have you seen them?" The teenagers froze, terror coursing through their veins. They wanted to run, but their feet felt rooted to the ground. The weeping woman was real. She was here. One brave soul stepped forward, trembling. We haven't seen them," he stammered. "Please don't hurt us." The figure paused, her head tilting slightly. The air thickened with despair. "You must help me," she pleaded, her voice breaking. "I cannot find them. I cannot rest." The group exchanged terrified glances. They were caught in a web of fear and compassion. "What can we do?" another asked, her voice barely above a whisper. La Llorona's eyes, though hidden, seemed to pierce through them. "You must call their names. They will hear you. They will come back to me." With a deep breath, the teenagers gathered their courage. They began to call out the names of her children, their voices trembling but resolute. "Isabella, Matteo!" they shouted into the night. The wind howled, and the river churned, but there was no response. The weeping woman's cries grew louder, more desperate. "Please," she wailed, her sorrow echoing through the valley. "I cannot bear this pain." The teenagers felt her anguish seep into their bones. They called out again, louder this time, their voices rising above the storm. "Isabella, Matteo!" Suddenly the river began to glow. A soft light emerged from the depths, illuminating the darkness. The teenagers gasped as 2 figures appeared, ethereal and shimmering. It was Isabella and Matteo, their faces radiant and innocent. They reached out to their mother, who fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Mi amor, my children," she cried, her voice filled with a mix of joy and sorrow. The children rushed to her, their laughter ringing like chimes in the night. The teenagers watched in awe, their fear replaced by a profound sense of peace. La Llorona embraced her children, her weeping transforming into a song of reunion. But as quickly as they appeared, the light began to fade. The children looked back at the teenagers, their eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," they whispered, their voices like a gentle breeze. "You helped us find our mother." And with that, they vanished into the night, leaving only the weeping woman behind. La Llorona stood alone, her sorrow now mixed with a glimmer of hope. "You have freed me," she said, her voice softer now. "I can finally rest." The teenagers felt a weight lift from their hearts. They had faced their fears and helped a lost soul find peace. As dawn broke, the village awoke to a new day. The legend of La Llorona would live on, but now it was a story of redemption. The weeping woman was no longer a figure of terror. She was a mother, forever searching, but now at peace. The river flowed gently, a reminder of the night's events. The villagers would tell the tale of the brave teenagers who faced the weeping woman and helped her find her children. And as the sun rose over the mountains, the echoes of her cries faded into the past, replaced by the laughter of children playing by the riverbank. But sometimes on stormy nights, when the wind howls just right, the villagers still hear a soft weeping. They pause, remembering the story of La Llorona, the weeping woman, who once roamed the riverbanks, forever searching for her lost children. And they whisper a prayer, hoping she has found her peace at last.